Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 175 of the High Sensitivity Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, my name is Barry, along with my co-hosts.
My name is Craig. I don't have anything. My name's Craig.
My name is also Craig. Nothing's changed. Everything stays the same, except for one thing.
Well, it's my intros. They're different.
Yes.
I realized I totally forgot the part where I explained the podcast.
It's okay.
Craig's cat just keeps meowing.
It does.
And it just totally.
I know.
Totally
I was wondering if you
threw
guys
me
could hear
off.
it.
Listen, it's Halloween time.
I saw Craig laughing, and I was like, it has to be because my cat is screaming.
It was right as we started, like immediately when we started. I heard it, and it was great.
Well,
Vader
it's
just
playtime,
wants
apparently.
to introduce himself. Yeah,
Yeah,
Vader
that's all
Vader
good.
just wants to get on the podcast. But if you haven't listened
Vader
to
has a
us
lot to say.
before, we talk about video game and movie news as well as what we watched or played over the week. We already introduced ourselves. I usually do that later, but what always comes around this time is the news. I always do the news around here. So first up for me is going to be Starfield is the biggest release for Bethesda. They haven't shut up about it really for the past couple weeks since releasing it. Concurrent 6 million players.
Oof.
Good for Bethesda. It's their biggest release by far. Is Starfield that good though? I talked about it last week. The Craigs will tell us when we come back from our commercial break.
Oh, that was good. We got
Yes,
thoughts.
That was good.
Do you have a commercial queued up or?
Yes, I do. You can now pre-order the 3/4 scale Xbox 360 from Mega at Target. This new product now has a Lego version or Mega version copy of the 360 along with a weird version of Halo 3 attached to it. Am I the only one that saw this ad? Did you guys see this?
Yes.
You pre-ordered it, didn't you?
I may have pre-ordered it.
Ooh.
You know what the thing was? Is I looked. Here's my thing. You guys both know this family that I live in loves Legos, right?
Oh yeah.
But we despise Mega Bloks because it's like the off-brand. So I saw it, and I saw it the day it was going up for pre-orders, and I was like, "Oh, that looks cool," but it's Mega Bloks. Like, I don't want that. But then I saw the box it comes in, and it sold me. It's literally an Xbox 360 box.
Yeah,
Like the old school
really
white, like the white one.
Really?
And then I was like, "Oh man, the Halo case is made out of bricks, and the disc is made." Oh my god! I was like, you know what? I got to do it because I think it'll look good once it's built. I just think it's such a cool idea. I wish Lego would have done it, but I like the idea, so I had to pre-order it.
How much is the pre-order? Or how much is it?
It's 150.
Oh, that's not too terrible.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like around 2,000 pieces, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you plan on building it like
Oh,
on
yeah.
stream
Oh,
and
yeah.
things like that? So
I probably won't build it on stream, but I'll definitely build it to put like behind me somewhere, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, I need a shelf
Yeah.
of just random stuff is what I need.
This is
But I
like
thought it looked
this is
cool.
the proper time. This is the proper time for a quick plug. Where are you going to build it, Craig?
You know what's funny is like I haven't even streamed on there in so long, but I probably should get back to that. So
Yeah,
maybe
it's
that'll
been
be
a
the
while.
one to bring it back in. We'll see.
Give the people what they want, Craig.
That's true.
And we have some trailers as the Castlevania Nocturne trailer came out. I am so excited for the Castlevania series. Comes out September 27th. We also have a trailer for you can now watch the final episodes of Ash Ketchum's Pokemon in English. It's been that way for about a week now, and if you're a fan of Pokemon, you just gotta watch it. You don't have to. Anybody who's watched any sort of amount of Pokemon, in my eyes, like you could watch that final episode without having to watch everything else, and get like goosebumps and get teary eyed and crap. It's a very well done like parting episode for Ash Ketchum for anybody who's kind of grown up with Pokemon as of late. So it's fun, and I really look forward to seeing more people like watch it. I enjoy seeing my friends' reactions to it, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Will you guys check it out? Did you guys grow up with Pokemon? Like the
I'm
Pokemon
definitely gonna
animation?
watch it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did we grow up with Pokemon? Oh
Please.
my gosh.
Pokemon
That
is
was
my
like-
childhood.
Yeah. Yeah, specifically, like I don't know. That was my favorite cartoon growing. Well, I don't know. Batman Beyond's up there, and the original X-Men. That's a whole different story. But like
Yeah, Batman
Pokemon,
Beyond though. I feel yeah, you my guy there.
yes,
Yep.
yeah. Oh my god. But Pokemon growing up, just like, and it's kind of funny with how short the episodes were, but what cliffhangers mean to a kid versus an adult. Like, we're hanging on the Last of Us cliffhanger after watching an hour episode of them bonding, but Pokemon just throws like Squirtle and Pikachu just like, I don't know, like arguing for 2 seconds and Ash being like, hey guys, come on, we're a family. Next up on Pokemon next week. Like, and you're like, oh my God, how am I supposed to go to school this week?
It's true.
And then you immediately forget it because the Poke Rap comes after it, and you're like, it's just a catchy song that makes
Yes.
your
Yep. It makes you
Yes.
happy no matter what happened in the episode.
yep.
That's true.
Switch 2 rumors are heating up as they seem to have patented some new Joy-Cons that seem to address the Joy-Con drift part of it, and also to expect PS5 to Xbox Series X graphics on this
Yes.
new Switch. I am skeptical till it's proven that is for sure.
Yeah.
I have never seen Switch be like the forefront of graphics, so I'd be really surprised to see that they decide to take that step up now. I know it's what everybody complains about for the current model Switch, but this is a big leap from what the Switch can currently do. And if it's actually what they're saying it is, like, then that's awesome. Hopefully it's everything us Switch users want. But I'm skeptical about these rumors.
Yeah, I had
Definitely right
that
away.
written down as well, and I was like, I have to dig into what they're saying is like next gen level graphics. And what I could find was they were showing two things. They were showing a souped up version of Breath of the Wild, was one, and then two, they were showing that that Matrix demo that we got on PS5 and Xbox Series X. That's what they
Oh
were running.
yes.
So they were using that as a proof of like, hey, Unreal Engine 5 will run on the Switch too. So I'm still skeptical, obviously, but that's a good sign that it can run something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. When has when has Nintendo actually been a forefront in graphics or in
64.
any type?
64. I bet, yeah.
Would that be considered the last time?
Yeah, because GameCube was behind.
And wasn't it like the Sega Genesis that was the 16-bit, and it was the SNES, or which
the
one was
Genesis
it
was 32-bit. SNES
Okay.
was 16.
That's what it was, yeah. So it's
Got
still
it.
even behind then.
It was definitely Nintendo 64, but then at the same time PlayStation came out and it was better than the Nintendo
Yeah.
64 graphics wise, not game
Yeah.
wise. Well, it depends.
Ooh,
But yeah,
there's an argument right there, right? There's
I would lean more towards PlayStation myself, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think Nintendo 64 would have been the last time they were like, you looked at that Mario demo. I mean, I know Craig and I are old enough to remember that and seeing that and being like, whoa, that Mario head floating on the screen, and you're like, what is this? I still
that
remember
was classic.
playing it for the first time in a Kmart, Mario 64, and just being amazed at how cool it looked.
I love that you mentioned Kmart too, because I had one by me, and that's where I used to purchase local games if I wasn't traveling farther outside my town. So that's really funny.
Next on movie news, we have Hayao Miyazaki's last film, The Boy and the Heron, has been getting good reviews. It's looking like it's going to be a very good movie, but this was on rumored to be his last film that he was going to be making for Studio Ghibli. But since the movie's release, he continues to show up to the office and work. So it's kind of up in the air whether or not this is exactly his last movie that he's working on. I know I'm excited for this one, of course. It's just a matter of, it was supposed to be this huge send off for him, and they did all this on purpose, like very limited promotional marketing on Japanese. We will probably see very little promotional marketing on our end because they did not release a lot when it came to the movie. So, like, overall, I'm excited to see this film. We're supposed to get it late December of this year, with an English voice cast tied to it. And overall, like, if it's not his last film, great. I just feel like let's see here. How can I put this in? I don't think anybody else is going to get this reference, but if you remember the Duke head coach who did like his farewell tour,
Yep.
and then or like when Tom Brady told everybody he's retiring and then comes back for another season, it feels like this is what Miyazaki's doing. It's like you guys all thought, but I'm actually still playing. I'm still here. I'm him.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
It's funny. A lot of the greats do that, and I think it's maybe it's they're addicted to just their craft. I mean, Jordan did that. I mean, we can go down a list of sports famous figures, maybe semi-famous figures that do something similar, which is like the "I'm done, but I'm not really." I mean, Jay-Z retired in 2003.
Yeah.
I remember that because that was the Black album, and he said he was done after that. And then I don't know, we're like 5 albums after that. So
It
I
gets
don't know.
boring sitting at home
Yeah.
doing
Especially when
nothing.
you're that great at something, anything.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're that great at something that I guess requires you to leave the house. So
True.
The only other thing is a little fun note for me. In case anybody was excited, Eternites comes out tomorrow for PS5. If anybody's remembers, this is the anime game that was R2 to handhold. I am
Oh yeah.
prepared. I am ready to go. I am ready to hold R2 and press R2 harder than anyone's ever pressed it before. I hope you guys are ready for my review next week. This game is
Eternites.
preloaded. I am ready. The game
Did
does
you
not
buy
look
it digitally?
you have I don't think it's being sold physically.
oh, there's no
It's like
Okay.
physical.
it's like a $30 game. It's 26 or 27 with my PlayStation
Okay.
a PlayStation Plus account. The game does not look good. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. The stuff I've seen is not
As we're
great.
looking it up,
But
Yeah, I'm definitely looking it up right
but
now.
I'm going to press that R2 button when the time comes, and it's going to be worth all 30 of my dollars in order to
Persona
do it.
inspired dating sim.
Yes.
That's what they're calling
Ooh,
it.
hand holding button. That's what that
Yep.
sounds like.
Look,
Eternites misunderstands what makes Persona's game loops compelling.
okay, well they're probably already reviews out and everything. But like, look,
They're just
he said,
haters. They're just
he said,
haters.
yeah, they don't understand. Me and Craig were Persona guys. Like, Craig's gonna play this the moment I tell him it's like Persona,
I might. Don't
or he's just gonna play
don't take me
Persona
out of it.
again.
You could trick me into playing games that aren't even in the Persona genre by saying it's a Persona-esque game. Like next Souls like that comes out, just say, yeah, it's kind of Persona like, and I'll buy it.
True.
That's all I have for news this week.
All right. A little more Nintendo news that I found was Nintendo supposedly working on a VR headset with Google. A little late, don't you
Yeah.
think? The first thing I thought of when I said Google though was like, oh, is this like a cheap? Like, I almost think of like what was the Switch game where you built stuff out of cardboard?
Labo.
Yeah, like is this a Labo VR headset again? Maybe a step up from that, but like I can't imagine this is going to be something that's like a $400 headset, right?
I'm saying one hardware improvement at a time, Nintendo. Let's
Yeah.
get the PS5 and Xbox Series X style graphics
Yeah.
into our hardware first.
Maybe that's the next
Sorry,
step
Barry.
for their consoles, VR.
No, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I guess like the main thing that I think that they could focus on is there needs to be a competitor to the Oculus, the Oculus Quest, and if Nintendo and Google can pair on something like that, I think that's going to be perfect. I think that's good. I think that would be awesome because right now, like in the VR space, unless you're paying the PSVR2 money, which I'm including the price of a new PS5 in there, that's thousands of dollars.
Yep.
HTC Vive more expensive. Like it's all more expensive than what the Quest is. If you can get something to be similarly priced to the Quest 2 or Quest 3 and perform somewhere along those lines, I think you have a winner.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's a good idea.
I think if I can pick one thing in VR that's lacking, it's Nintendo properties.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, they would destroy.
They would.
They would destroy.
Think about playing a Mario themed VR, a Zelda themed VR. Like, come on, Mario Kart in VR. Get out of here.
Give me a Skyward Sword in VR.
There you go. Oh
Take that.
man, I can think of a lot of ways they could make it really work, and I would consider it if it's in like the $100 $200 range, maybe.
Hmm.
You know what? I'm going crazily further with this. Maybe this is why we haven't heard anything about the latest Metroid Prime.
Eh,
Are they waiting
Metroid
for the
Prime and
VR?
VR. That could be cool.
That would
I'd be
make
down for
sense
that.
too. A lot of
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Good call.
Craig,
I like that.
that's the most sense I think you've ever made.
Yeah,
Mark it
I don't
down.
think you're far off. Yeah, I need to write that down. Hold on. I
That
made
way you can
sense
claim it
today.
later. No, you definitely need to
Yeah.
claim that when they announce that and be like, I told you. I told all of you.
Guys, you remember that day I made sense? I made so much sense that day.
Also in the news of course they are, that makes sense. Hogwarts Legacy 2 is in development. Yes. We still don't really have any
Yeah.
DLC for the original, but that's fine. If you want to make another one, I'll play through that. Remember when we all loved that game at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, we thought we were at the height of gaming at that time.
Game of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about it until I read that story this week, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that was this year, real
And
Yeah,
that
I mean,
early."
was yeah, and that was all till Eternights comes out tomorrow.
yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. You know what I want to do? I almost want to go back through our older episodes and figure out how many times each of us individually said, now, we haven't seen the rest of the games this year, but for right
Yep.
now, it's game
Yeah.
of the year.
There's been quite a few games we've said that about already.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
This year. The last one I thought was hilarious was another casualty to the October scrunching of games together. Alone in the Dark's going to 2024. Womp womp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really wanted to play that for Halloween, but
Yep.
oh well. I guess I'll play it in January or February. It also makes me think maybe they weren't super confident in it, or it's not ready, and they just don't want to say
Yeah.
that. I mean, that's fine if it's not ready. Take your time. But to me, that says like, oh man, we're not going to sell a lot of copies anyway. Let's just push it till February when there are no games, and hopefully people will pick it up. Like I'm still interested in the game a lot, but I don't think I was going to buy it in October. Were you, Craig?
I didn't pre-order it, but I
Yeah.
kind of had it. You know when you have it sitting in a cart
Yeah.
and you're just like, maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll get it. Like that's where Alone in the Dark was for me before that news. So I don't know. I'm sad for the game because it's not like Alan Wake 2 in terms of expectancy. So you would like it to build off of the Halloween hype.
Right.
Because I mean, playing the game in October is a little bit different than playing the game in, any other month, to be honest with you. But
I mean, we played Dead Space in January, right?
We did.
That was another game of the year.
Yeah.
Man.
And we played what was the other one? The other one was in December. It was essentially the pregame to Dead Space. Why can't I remember it now?
Callisto
Callisto,
Protocol.
thank you.
Yep.
Callisto Protocol.
Yeah.
Callisto was
I
good.
mean-
I enjoyed that game.
I did too.
One of the scariest moments of 2022. Still.
But yeah, that's all I had for news.
All right, so I kind of had I came across this article that essentially set up a question that I wanted to ask you guys, and then I'll go into like some smaller news. But the article is GTA 6 set to be this generation's only Rockstar game. Sorry, Red Dead fans. Now I read it. It's not necessarily that much news. Any gamer can predict that this would be the Rockstar game of this current generation of consoles. But my question, based off of the amount of, I don't know, complaining versus reveling in games, whether or not they're releasing properly or releasing to full effect without any updates needed or anything like that, is my question is, do we feel better about a Rockstar route to games? Like, take 6 years, like Rockstar, and put out something that's almost, if not completely perfect. I'm kind of ignoring Bethesda in terms of their timetable right now, but like, or do we just pump out games? Just pump them out, year and a half, 2 years. Public loves it, get the sequel. Public loves it, get the sequel. And as gamers, and I don't know, this is part of the question, is are you starting to think that we should just have more of that patience to just say, I know this game was great. I'm not going to see another one in 5 or 6 years, and that's fine because this is what they did with their previous 5 years. I don't know. I know that's a long question,
Yeah,
but it made me.
This is a good question, though. These are good questions, Craig.
Because
give yourself some credit here.
thanks. I don't know. Like Rockstar, I'd never. Who complains about Rockstar? Well, sorry. There's a lot of people out there in the world. But when have you heard us? Let's create it to the bubble. Complain about Rockstar for taking too long
I
to
was
make
just
another GTA.
I was just about to.
Were you?
Yeah. Which is hilarious that you said that.
Oh
Because
my god.
here,
Elaborate.
this is why I don't have any problems with companies taking a while to make a game if you want to make it perfect. And Rockstar makes as close to perfect games as you can. I know our feelings on Red Dead aside, that's considered one of the best games ever made, right? It's not for me. It's not for Barry over there, but like it's still considered one of
Can't
the best games of all time.
can't play it.
My issue with Rockstar specifically is, in my opinion, GTA 6 could have been done 3 to 4 years ago, but they're so content to just sit there and rake in shark cards on GTA Online. I love their games, but I cannot stand that company anymore. Like I despise Rockstar for that. Um, it's the same thing to me as like EA with Madden or 2K with NBA. Is just like, yeah, we could get stuff out better in their case, or in Rockstar's case. Yeah, we could have had GTA 6 for the launch of the Series X and PS5, but why should we when we can just, everybody's going to continue to play GTA Online for 15 years and we don't care. That's how I look at it, as they're almost, to me, they're being lazy. They've made so much money that they just don't care. But they still make good games. It's just there's no pressure. Like I don't even think we see GTA 6 for another 3 or 4 years. Honestly, why would they?
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty valid. I guess I didn't take that into account. I think I was uh more looking towards the fact that they were putting so much into the game consistently
Mm-hmm.
over time. More like, and they are and
Right.
were, but like that side I didn't think of. It's just like sitting back and just kind of raking in on the success without kind of
Right.
giving us somebody other than Trevor, Michael, and oh my god, whoever the third character is of five.
It's
But
been so
like,
long since
I
I
don't know.
played that game.
Same here. It's been at least since the PS5. I haven't played it since I got a PS5. I can tell you that at least.
Same. Same.
I don't know, Barry. What do you think?
So yeah, I was just gonna bounce off mostly what Craig said. I'm really okay with them taking as long as they need to, but I also feel like this is kind of the only company that can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Rockstar makes so much money from GTA, and what we have to remember as well is GTA 5, and well, like the online ended up being a complete and utter for GTA was great, but the online for Red Dead ended up being atrocious.
Yep.
And they ended up cutting support out for it for anybody who put time into it because the GTA online was so successful. So what I think we end up with is like they're taking as long as they are, one, because I think they're probably trying to, how do you, how do you surpass what GTA Online was. GTA 5 was great in the story mode and everything like that, and
Mm-hmm.
if the Bonnie and Clyde thing that they're going for is true, I'm gonna love that too. But how do you surpass your biggest money making, probably one of the biggest money making, you know pay, not pay for service but microtransactional communities? How do you follow that up? And I think for the most part, they're trying to figure out whether how to squeeze every dollar out of people that they can for it, because people are going to play it no matter what. Like it was, I think almost at this point, GTA Online has surpassed what GTA 5 story was. Like
Mm-hmm.
the amount of content that's come out for it, the amount of self immersion, sorry, you can put into it, can be. So I really think like Rockstar is one of these game companies that like can do it. One, because they can afford it, but two, like GTA 5 lasted for so long in people's mind, and then Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, and that story was all that people could talk about for a while. So really, yeah, they're the only company that can do this, really, because I think every other company would have a hard time, you know, living off they wouldn't be able to live off the profits that their game makes. Like the only people that could do that, and it's funny to mention this now, but like Madden could probably do that, because of how
Yeah.
much money that makes every year. Every sports franchise, probably other than NHL, could probably live off the money they make off of a game for a couple years and not have to bring out one like every year. But it's the sports community; they need a game every year.
Yep.
So that's where like you get that portion of things, because really there's no other game that's that successful in microtransactions if you're not a battle royale or sports games. Like, could you guys
Counter
could you
maybe.
I would
Counter
agree.
Strike?
With
Yeah.
that,
So multiplayer, yeah, that makes sense. Maybe solely multiplayer as well. Like you don't
Dota.
see these kind of profits coming from, God of War,
Right.
Spider-Man, Starfield, Halo, nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
That's my
I don't know.
soapbox.
No, I love it. I love it. I thought it was just very interesting, and like I appreciate your guys' takes on that. I have just a little bit of smaller news. Number one, Annapurna has selected Stray as to be their first animated film. Apparently, the movie side of Annapurna Entertainment is going to make a animated movie featuring the lovable cat that we all essentially tried to free from the depths of the world last year, which it seems like forever ago now. But I thought that was some feel good news. Also, the Attack on Titan final second part of the season has been released. the,
you
the
mean
the
you mean
final
Attack on Titan, the final season, part 1, special 2,
yes,
extracurricular,
yeah.
3.
However, whatever decimals you want to have there, I don't know. We're all kind of hanging on the last part of this story, and apparently November 4th we are going to get it.
It
So
needs to end. I'm ready
I'm
for
not
it to
saying
end.
I'm going to. Yes, it does. It does. I agree. And I'm not going to take off work, but I'm almost that excited just to get the conclusion.
I'll tell
I
you
need
right
to.
now, like Crunchyroll won't be able to handle it. It's gonna crash. You could take off work the next day and you'd probably be fine
Yeah,
to watch it, but it couldn't. It can't handle Demon Slayer. It couldn't handle One Piece when Gear 5 came out. Like the amount of hype that like some of these anime get is ridiculous, and the ending for Attack on Titan will also be just as ridiculous as the rest of them.
Fair.
I could see that. I mean, that is probably, would you say, at the moment, one of the most, if not the most, well loved or at least popular animes out right now? I know
It's one
Demon
of
Slayer's up there.
It's one of the I wouldn't say like here's the thing about we get such a gap between Attack on Titan. Like when the announcement comes up, excitement starts to come up. But until that announcement came out, nobody was really like, dude, where Attack on Titan, like we got to get that ending. Like the gap between everything is just too large in order to keep
Gotcha.
that hype going. Whereas Jujutsu Kaisen's probably one of the biggest ones right now. One Piece, big. Demon Slayer,
Mm.
huge. Like there's just so much other stuff to watch.
Yeah, I will be watching Zom 100 until
Yep.
that
There
series
you go.
comes out. The last one I have, I don't know why I laughed and thought of you, Craig, when I
Uh-oh.
read this, but Xbox is coming out with a gamer credit card
It's funny. I
in
had this written
conjunction.
down and I didn't. I deleted it. But that's
Oh,
hilarious.
did you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like via the financial institution, and its institution Barclays, Xbox will be having a credit card that is going to work just like any other credit card that you could possibly expect. Get a certain amount back, you can utilize it at the store. The kicker that I read is that you have to be an Xbox insider
Yeah.
specifically to get it, which I guess
To
now that I
start
say it
with.
out loud makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I just think I don't know. It's another step. Everybody's got a credit card at this point. I
Mm-hmm.
laughed when Venmo got a credit card. That's just a personal laugh of mine.
Yep.
But I did laugh when PayPal got one. So I don't know. Uh, but but I don't know. Craig, you getting it?
I don't know. I've had the PlayStation credit card for a long time, probably like 5 or 6 years at this point. and it's nice that it like I can convert those points into like PlayStation Store credit, and it's kind of the same thing, right? With the Xbox, like you get 5 times rewards if you're buying like Microsoft things
Hmm.
or you're buying something. So like it would make sense if you're gonna buy like digital games. Yeah, get it, get the 5 times points, and then just pay it off immediately. Like that's cool. They also give you 3 months of Ultimate for free, but you have to be a new subscriber,
Mm,
which is kind of meh. Because
Yeah, that's pretty meh.
if you're an Xbox insider, you probably already have Ultimate,
Yeah.
probably. And you can also put your gamer tag on the front of the credit card, which is hilarious to make
okay,
yourself
that's
a
dope.
complete nerd.
That
But
that's
I mean,
that's dope.
I mean, I've thought about it. I don't know if I will or not. Do I really need another credit card? No. We'll see.
I
I
think
think
I'd
that's
be
what
more
everybody
inclined to get it.
says.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I'd be more inclined to get it myself if every time I made a payment, it made the Xbox like 360 startup sound or something like
Wonk.
that. Yeah.
That would be cool.
And then when the
Yeah,
payments declined, you get the off button or the red
Yeah,
ring of death shows up on there.
that would be really
sick.
good. That would
That
be
would be
really good.
really cool.
But I mean, it makes sense for if, especially if you're buying digital games and you own an Xbox, 100% you should get it because it's free money that you're going to be giving back and just pay it off right away, and you're good to go.
Yeah, everybody's doing it. That's all I
Mm-hmm.
had.
All
Cool.
right. We're going to go into games this week then, which I have more extended thoughts about Madden 24 as I've now put a lot of decent amount of time into it. Starfield, and then I also have a
Yes.
controller review of
Mm-hmm.
the Spider-Man 2 controller.
Let's go.
What do you
Yes.
guys play?
I also have Starfield thoughts. NBA 2K24. I'm like 18 hours into Sea of Stars, so I'm
Okay.
almost done. Um,
Hey.
and I wanted to throw in there as this like ridiculous collection grows behind me, but I had to. I was like, I don't ever talk about these, but I want to talk about the Wheel of Fortune arcade one up that's
Is
sitting
that
back
what
there.
that is?
That's Wheel of Fortune. And I was like, you know what? These keep like multiplying behind me. I should probably start talking about it. I also thought maybe like if people are interested, maybe I'll start doing like quick reviews of them on like TikTok or something for everybody to get a better
Yeah.
look at them. But yeah, I definitely want to talk about I have to turn my this guy right here, the Wheel of
Yeah.
Fortune one.
Okay. I got the least amount of games. It's just game for me. I just put everything into Starfield.
Okay, no, that's good.
No Sea of
And
Stars, huh?
then yeah, well, I just want to say because you brought that up again and how far you're in it, that like I wish at the end of the year that I could put Sea of Stars as my game of the year. I just
It's
want to,
great. Mm-hmm.
but I know I'm not. That's the only thing I want to say about it because I haven't played it since last episode. But I want it. I want that. Like
Yeah.
All right, so I'll talk about Madden because it's the oldest
Yes.
game of everything we're talking about. Put a lot of time into Madden, ladies and gentlemen. A
As
lot of
you do.
time, a lot of frustration into
Yep.
Madden.
Yep.
Angry Joe's review of Madden is also up if you really need that one as well. But Madden 24, I think for the most part, uh, and I'm trying not to to just repeat everything that I said before. There's not much different with the game. It actually frustrates me with how little like I'm told, and I know this is a problem for my team in particular, but I'm gonna go with the Miami Dolphins just to just as an example here in franchise mode, which to be fair is the only thing I play. The Miami Dolphins are what we call a cap hell. Um, Players are getting paid way too much. You get put into negative cap room. You can't sign players. I got to the point where my cap was so bad I couldn't play the season. I didn't have positions filled, and I couldn't sign anyone else. So the obvious answer is to restructure your star players' contracts in order to defeat this purpose. Um, there's no customization when it comes to restructuring of contracts.
Okay.
The only real option is if let's say you put somebody at a 7 year deal and it's very like it's kind of evenly distributed throughout the first couple years. If you decide to do a restructure, it just adds all the money to the end of their years, making their contract ridiculously overpaid. I can't like put a little here, put a little there to make room to sign one player. Um, And that's really annoying because sometimes when you're trying to sign your best player and not trying to get an arm and a leg for it, restructuring your contract would have been nice. Um,
Mhm.
and I just feel like Madden does a very terrible job of explaining that to people. Like, I get to a new season in Madden and it's like, oh, you're too much into cap. You got to sell players. I somehow sell players, but there's so much dead cap for the following year that everyone's in negative, so I can't trade the player. And cutting him would not save me any money at all. Like, it's very frustrating the kind of glitches and bugs that happen in Madden because you should be able to, like, all teams should be cap compliant by the end of the year. But the moment you go into the next year, every team other than like two or three has cap room to sign players or to accept trades for players. And I just think like Madden, again, like once you start to get the deeper you get into it, after all, like this Madden kind of is the best playing of the year, the more I find flaws with it. The more like I can run the same play, I think like 20 times, and I just finished a game where all I did was run, I think, the same play for about 3 quarters, and I won the game in overtime. But it's just like there are so many still flaws. Like the defense didn't adjust obviously to the same play I would run over, and over again. It's like where this is the $1 billion franchise for Madden, and it's just like again once you kind of get over the window dressing of the new stuff, the old problems are all still there. And now I'm at the point where it's like, yeah, maybe I need to not chill next year. Madden 25, I can't buy it. I
Write it
can't.
down, guys.
I,
He's not going to
I'll
buy it.
believe it when I see it.
Yeah,
I'll
for
believe it when
sure.
I see it.
It's like me saying I'm not going to buy 2K.
Look,
Um,
look. To say the demos could be really good for Madden 25. Like that might entice me. Right
yeah,
now, right now, I'm swearing off of buying Madden 25.
but like
I'm
you bring up a great point, Barry. Like there's a lot of things that they're not necessarily putting work into adjusting, and like this isn't a sports podcast, but one of the things that we've seen in the last decade, at least 5 years, is more players holding out because their contracts are not readjusted the way that they want. So like why can't that be a feature that happens in the game, where you're I don't know, where I don't know, Tyreek Hill is sitting out for you because he's just not happy about his contract and you have to rework it after games. Like that's a fun thing to add. I think if I'm a game developer, I think that's a fun thing to add. I don't know how tedious it is to add something or to even develop a game, but let's adjust with the times a little bit here, instead of like leaving that cap issue in there. That's a detriment to the non-playing portion of Madden. I don't know. That's the first thing that comes to mind there. Like adjust with the times. They adjust every year with the rosters. Let's adjust with the times. You
mm-hmm.
know,
But they
Yeah,
can't be asked to do that. That's too much work for them.
it's
And
too much
Craig and
work.
I talked about it too. Your players get injured far too often. Every game, I at least have four players
constantly.
get injured or
Yep.
something happen to them. It's just like I do understand, but like let's take the first week of NFL action. Like my team, Miami Dolphins, have seemed to come out pretty much clear from the first game. I don't hear about any injuries or anything like that for them. The Eagles, other than I think N'Kobe Dean, is
Yep.
out for a couple weeks. Yes, things like J.K. Dobbins, Achilles tear, that
Oh, I
happens.
feel bad for
But
that guy.
Mm-hmm.
my offensive
Oh man.
players, especially my linemen, don't need to be injured like what feels like four of them every game, and then they
Yep.
come out and then they say something where it's a bruised
Strain.
thigh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strain. He'll be
Yeah.
back in soon.
Bruce Th-
Yep.
It's like what? Why?
Yeah.
Why are we trying to do this? Like, why does my injured player have to always be continuously getting injured? And then at
Yep.
some point, it's like there's four injuries of, oh no, Tua's got another brain contusion. Teron Armstead's legs broken. Tyreek snapped his arm in half because he was going too fast or something like that. Like you eventually get so many injuries, it doesn't make the game fun playing. But
Yep.
injuries are part of the game, and you don't want to fully take them out. So it's like
He-
there's no
Here's
balance.
another. Here's another question. Speaking of balance, why wouldn't they add a feature to the game, much like NFL coaches do, where you get an option maybe before the next game to either rush a player back or play it safe? How cool would that be if you're playing as the Chiefs and like you have, I don't know, you're playing the Bengals and and Travis Kelsey's hurt, and you're like, I don't know, do I rush him back in this game because like we have enough wins to get to the playoffs, but I want to beat
Yeah.
the Bengals because that's like the thing. Like you're supposed to beat the Bengals as the Chiefs. So like, why don't
They
you add that small feature, or is
they
that in
kind
it?
of
And
do that
I,
in the middle of the game. Like you'll get the
Yeah.
like somebody goes down and then 2 plays later it'll pop up as like shoulder strain. Keep them in. Probability of further injury is like medium or something. And I always I usually just sit them. I'm like, I don't want to risk it. But then you sit them in the next game, they get hurt again anyway. It's
Yeah,
like, what?
or they come back 2 quarters later.
Yeah, they
Like
come in
yeah,
anyway.
yeah. It's like I
Yeah.
just told you to sit, and now
Yep.
you've come back in anyway, and then they end up
Right.
being injured, and it's like, well, I didn't do this. I
Yep.
I did not decide this. The
I
game.
had I was obviously playing as the Eagles. Jalen Hurts gets hurt, right? And it comes back as like a shoulder sprain, and probability of injury is medium. So I say sit him, right? It's the second quarter. 2 plays later, he's back. I was like, well, why did you ask me if you're going to make the decision anyway? Like I said, sit him, and Marcus Mariota comes in for 2 plays, and then here comes Jalen Hurts again. Like it's like it's there, but it doesn't actually do anything at
Yeah.
all.
mm,
I will say this, Barry, like the biggest blessing for me these past couple of years is that 10-year trial with EA Play through Game Pass Ultimate, because
Yeah.
10 hours is enough for me to play through a season. And I play through that season, I win the Super Bowl with like the Eagles, and I'm good for the year. I don't need to play it anymore. At that point, I'm so fed up with the game and irritated that I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore anyway. And it saved me from buying Madden for like 3 years now. It's been great.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong.
I do it with every single EA game now. NHL, FIFA, which is EAFC now, like all of them. The only one I'm not going to is college football next year.
oh, of course,
Yeah.
Because that's an automatic buy. No matter
Yeah,
how
it's an
bad it is, it's
Yeah.
automatic
fine.
buy.
Yeah.
I'm buying it.
auto
Yep.
buy.
Yep. It doesn't matter. If I could
To
pre-order
be
right now,
honest,
I would.
yeah, to be honest, NCAA football could come out and be like a 16-bit, like the old 16-bit, and I'd be like, yeah, this is great. This is everything I ever wanted, kind of deal there. So
I don't care. It's great. Game of the year.
But then, so let's see here. I was going to say, do you want to talk about Sea of Stars, or do you guys want to get into Starfield?
I don't like Sea of Stars. Like I from what I can tell looking it up, it's like a 20 to 25 hour game. So I think I'm getting near the end. What I'm enjoying about it is like every time where like it gets set up and I'm like, all right, this feels like the end. And then something else comes up and I'm like, oh, I'm not done yet. I just got like, so I'm at 18 hours, 16 hours in. I thought I was done. I'm like, this is it. And then they're like, all right, now we need you to go over here. And I go over to this other place. It's a whole nother map. And I was like, oh, we're not done. Not in a bad way, though. Like, I'm not upset about it. I'm enjoying the story. I'm having a lot of fun. As long as it sticks to the landing, I think this will end up in my top 10 somewhere. I really do. I think they did a fantastic job. The writing still, I think, is a little iffy. But overall, I'm having a good time with it. Hopefully, I finish it this week.
This will be an interesting top 10 this year.
A lot of moving around.
A lot of moving around.
Oh, you know what? I just before we do that, I forgot to say they did mention that in the news category, that Final Fantasy 16 is getting theater rhythm tracks later.
Oh,
this year. So, I did see that in an announcement. So if you're looking for it, if you're looking forward to it like I am, it's going to be great.
Okay.
I was thinking before Starfield. I do.
Yes, do it. Let me see that controller.
Yeah, go ahead.
I do the opening. All right, guys. This is the Spider-Man 2 limited edition controller. So personal feelings here, and this will be different for everybody, of course. I am overall underwhelmed. And you guys will see here as well. I don't know how good the camera's going to catch it. I will try. Here is the controller.
Okay.
Okay.
If I had to explain it to people, it's pretty much a black controller with a little bit of red on the edge and the kind of the Venom, spreading archetype to it as well. Nothing on the back, really. Nothing at all. At least, not that I can tell. Is there? No, there's nothing. So, overall, like, I'll be fair. I think the controller looks better in the box. Like, you can see here the difference between the two. I was hoping the red was going to be brighter. It is not.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
It
dark.
is
much darker.
not. Oh wow.
So that's where kind of false advertising. Sony, give me my money back and maybe give me the collector's
Most
edition for
definitely.
free. And the Spider-Man logo that's in the center. I think for the most part, you could have just put a red controller with a Spider-Man logo, and you probably still would have sold just as much. Uh, I will admit I have not used the controller. I've just kept it in the box because I think at this point the controller that's portrayed on the box looks better than the controller I got. um, I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Again, I'm putting it through camera, so
Right.
kind of visually explained it as much as I could. But overall, like, do I have it? Yes. I was I was kind of upset that I didn't get the plates
Same.
for Spider-Man, but if the plates looked anything like what this controller does, it probably
May have
just looks
dodged a bullet.
primarily black.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so I feel like maybe Sony was probably just trying to phone it in on this stuff. I've seen, I've seen the controllers that are like the Final Fantasy 16, the Hogwarts Legacy controllers that Sony has done, and I think they look nice. But I don't know whether or not like the quality of those controllers is the same as what this was. Is it limited edition? Yes, but overall, it's it's a PlayStation controller. I kind of wish there was a little bit more to it for how much I paid, but
Mm-hmm.
is what it
There's
is.
there's part of me, since I didn't get the Spider-Man plates, that wants to just get the pink one so that I can just make it a Barbie PS5. Because like that pink
Oh, do it.
is like identical to the Barbie pink. So I was
Yeah,
like,
you
maybe
could
I
just
should
get
just
like a
do that.
vinyl B. You would
Yeah,
be able
Do
to do it.
it.
that'd be
That would,
hilarious.
yeah.
Or
That would
like
be
a
hilarious.
vinyl like Ken logo or something, But yeah, it is a little underwhelming. I will say that. I'm
My
not so
PS5
upset
is
I didn't get
enough.
one. It's my PS5 is enough. That is kind of cool.
You just reminded me. I forgot I pre-ordered the collector's edition. I don't even remember what's in there besides the Venom statue. That's the only thing I
Oh, and
remember in
that
there.
was we forgot that in news as well, but like the internet kind of going crazy and making fun of Sony and Spider-Man for saying get your 19 inches of Venom. Like, of course. Of
Yeah,
course they're going to start making a bunch of dirty jokes for it.
it's essentially an
Um,
alley oop at that point.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but to be fair, those comment sections were really funny. I could read a lot of those for hours. Um, but
Yeah,
be ready, Craig. We're getting 19 inches of Venom October
I
20th.
am completely ready for 19 inches of Venom.
Oh dear lord. Anyway, Starfield.
Star Starfield. All right,
Um,
you guys go first. I gave my opinions last week. Now,
Craig,
all right,
by all means.
I'll give you my quick overview because I know, Craig, you played it more than I did, because I played a decent amount of it, but then I was like, I really should finish Sea of Stars first, so I stopped. But my initial impressions of Starfield is it still feels like a Fallout game control wise to me, a little floaty with the aiming. I like the story. I think it looks good, minus the glitches, which are in every Bethesda game. I personally think that this is going to be a game that I'm going to like slowly peck away at for the next like 6 months. It's not a game that's going to make me be like, oh, I can't wait to play Starfield. I can't wait to get off work and play 4 hours of Starfield. That's not going to be me. It's going to be like, I'll play for an hour and then I'll go play something else. I don't know if this will be the first Bethesda game I finish. I can't tell yet. But so far, I like what I see. The guns are cool. Customization is pretty sweet. I like being able to build my own ship. To me, that's really cool. Exploring the planet's not as fun as I thought it would be. Uh, but for the most part, I'm just like sticking to the main story and having a pretty good time. But yeah, that's like my quick overview until I get done with Sea of Stars.
So, I know there's a little controversy surrounding the fact that like some high profile reviews like IGN and stuff like that are doing like a 7 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at. I'm at a 7 out of 10, and I'll tell you why. I didn't fall for the explore the vastness of space, the limitless words that they were using to describe how much control you have over your exploration. So like I wasn't disappointed. You know, is the space portion of Starfield fun? It's kind of not. It's kind of all right.
Mhm.
Like what you said last week, Barry, there's a lot of menuing. There's so much menuing. And there have been games in the past that fully allowed you to decide on going to a planet and to the best of that game's visual capabilities, go into the planet's atmosphere, simulating what space would be like, and then entering any planet's atmosphere, even if it was just like a little bit of it looked like salt on the screen, it would show something, you know. Here, you can't do that. So it kind of eliminates, you drive up to the planet and then you kind of just are like, all right, I guess I'm going here. And then I kind of have to menu it to get down, unless I'm missing an accessibility option, which I don't think I am. Um, so it kind of eliminates the feeling of space. Um, New Atlantis, which is what they said is the largest Bethesda city that they have created, is dead to me. And where I say dead, if you thought Cyberpunk was bad with wondering what the locals are doing and herd and not even herd mentality, but like herd, like how they're walking, New Atlantis is all like that. It's just a bunch of people walking and they all look like they're going to the same job and they're all walking on each other's heels. And there's not a lot of personality in that. However, it looks good. Like the city looks good at different types of times of the day. And that's where I think they nailed it, is that Starfield is a very, very good looking game. There's not a lot of settlements, at least that I have seen yet. I found like 4 or 5, and I've put like 20 to 25 hours in. But they got like a Las Vegas looking one, a Las Vegas cyberpunk looking one. They have a couple, and one's kind of like an old timey West kind of area, which looks cool and follows its own rules. So I don't know. It looks great. The story is meh, but what I'm finding is kind of what I found in other Bethesda games. This is what I recommend to I guess, I don't know if I've played the most out of us, but like I have found the most fun, the most I can't wait to play Starfield later moment when I just picked one of the 80 million missions that they ask me to do and I just go somewhere and do it. Because the main story is kind of cool with what some of they give you, but every character talks the same. The same. Barry, was that you that talked about like the black in their mouth when
Yeah,
they talk?
yep.
They're dead. It's dead inside. So I'm like you, Craig, with certain RPGs. I'm Aing through everybody and what
Mhm.
they're saying, and I really don't care. But I have done some side missions. Like this is where I've had the most fun in the game. I did this side mission. No spoiler, really. It asked me to like, I think it was a distress call, or it was like just go see what's going on this planet. And I was like, okay. So I go, I get there, and you kill some people, and then you go down into this expansive cave network. And I will tell you that that was the most fun that I had in the 25 to 26 hours. Like, I did get a specific reward for doing it that made it all worth it. And for those of you who have played far enough, you feel like Batman when you're doing it. I don't know if that helps you correlate it or not, but like I got really good things at the end, but it was wonderful. I was like, what am I doing? Where's this leading to? There's a lot of enemies down here for some reason. What is down here? And that was the most fun. Not the story, not the suggested like places that they would say to go. It's just going off on my own and doing my own thing. Um, I advise people to pick a planet. It labels on the planet, for those of you who haven't played, what is explorable technically without doing like I guess picking a random part on the planet to land. Pick an abandoned outpost and just do it, because I think that's where the fun is. And that helps with Craig's mentality. For anybody else who's doing it, I think I'm going to do this as other games come out as well, though chipping away. Because I'll tell
Mhm.
you what, as soon as Lies of P come out, I'm not playing Starfield. I'm playing Lies of P.
Mhm.
Um, because for me, this is like right after playing Baldur's Gate. So like I'm just like decisioned a skill treed like side quest out. I need something like just like bare bones, like a Souls like game, you know. But anyway, where I think it lands it is what is somewhere that you like, what is out there that you haven't discovered yet. And while you don't have the ability to manipulate your time in space as much, you can dogfight, you can fast travel, essentially warp speed, but fast travel. And then you could just drive and watch your ship not really move. Those are the things I figured out you can do in space. Like, I don't know if there's more, but like, I don't know. I think it comes down to the exploration, trying to just pick somewhere, be spontaneous in the game, do the main missions as you can, but like the side missions have given me much more satisfaction from the game. Guns are cool. I ran into an enemy that I think is going to be the antagonist, and it's terrifying. By the way, I guess terrifying for a Bethesda game. So I can't wait to see that ram up. They kind of allude to it if you look at the lore in the game, but or if you listen to what they're talking about in the game as well. So, but I like it. It's a 7 out of 10. It's not an hour and a half worth of a showcase or whatever that showcase was. I guess it was a extra half hour, 45 minutes in addition. It's not worth getting a watch designated to the game. For me, it's 7 out of 10. There's better games. It's not going to be top three, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Just enjoying it. That, you know, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. That was a rant, but I'm enjoying it.
No, it makes sense. Like for me, again, like I'm still kind of in the way of like it is a very 7.65 mid game for me. I'm not like there are some things that are super impressive, but other things I'm like it's a Bethesda game. This probably should be ironed out. Like my main thing here is I've been playing this game and I keep thinking to myself like, you know, I had so much more fun with Cyberpunk, despite the fact that that game was a mess when it came out. And Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty now comes out in the next couple days here. And then I have the new Pokemon DLC coming out as well. So
Yep.
it's like there are better games coming out with DLC that I would prefer to play, and I will probably end up playing, therefore pushing Starfield further and further back. It's unfortunate because I think there are some redeeming qualities to Starfield, but it's not capturing me like I want. You know, some of the other games. Like you and it's the age old discussion. You can't tell me that a game is it's good 12 hours in. You can't tell people that. People
No, don't
don't
tell
have
me that.
time. People will tell you all the time. I'm not looking to waste my time on something that takes 12 hours for me to get invested. Like no one wants to
Yeah.
be told that. Where these DLCs for both games coming out, I'm going to be much more into.
Yeah,
And
you're right though.
and they look to add more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cyberpunk gave us Jackie Wells in the beginning. That alone tells us what they're doing. Like Jackie Wells, for those of you who still haven't played it yet, they gave us Jackie Wells in the beginning. All right, I'm hooked. The three of us played through a lot of glitches because of the story of
We
Cyberpunk. You
did.
know what I mean? As
Mhm.
far as we could. Starfield's not giving me that story. It's it's just not. So
Yeah. It'll probably end up for me anyway getting deleted when I need space. And at that point, will I reinstall it again? Maybe, maybe not. I may just drop it at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you said like Lies of Peace coming up quick. And then there's a million other games coming as well that are going to take its spot. So I think just like any other Bethesda game, there's going to be people who really, really dive into it and really, really like it and play it for hundreds and hundreds of hours. But none of us are like huge Bethesda fans. It's not a game made for us. It really
Mm-hmm.
isn't. But seven's
it's
probably
not.
fair. 7 out of 10. I think that's pretty accurate.
It looks great. It does. It
Mhm.
does look great.
Yeah.
It does look great.
But that's it for games this week. Let's get on to movies and TV
Whoa. You
shows.
didn't even let me talk about NBA
Wheel of
Oh my
and Wheel
god,
of
I'm so
Fortune.
sorry.
I was gonna
Barry's
I'm
say
trying to
Wheel
sorry.
of
skip
I'm
over.
Fortune.
All
sorry.
right.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
He was
I'm
all
bad.
set.
No, bad host. I'm a bad host. So that's what
I'm a
this
bad
is.
host.
I'm a bad
It's
host.
NBA week, Barry. It's NBA
Yeah,
week.
and I'm actually excited to hear you talk about NBA. I don't know why. I just like Starfield was the one thing, and I got too narrow
All
minded
right.
on it. So please.
NBA is NBA. at its heart, just like Madden, it doesn't really change. But I will say that 2K did listen this year when people. My biggest issue with NBA last year was I play my player a lot, and the neighborhood was too big. There's too many missions and side missions and random stuff that I have no interest in doing. That really just like I would go in and play a game or want to play a game, a season game, and I'd be like, oh, I have to go talk to my manager first. Then I got to talk to Jake from State Farm. Then I got to run over to the local shop and do a signing, all before it would let me play a game. And it was just like I gave up. What I appreciate this year is they made a point of saying they were trying to streamline it. So they still do have side stuff, but it's scaled back. The neighborhood is smaller, which is a good thing. You can go into the your normal season games, and it'll give you like, hey, here's the important games. If you just want to skip right to them, do those, and when you finish that game, while you're still in the arena, you can go right to the next one and be like, all right, I just want to play the next game. All right, I just want to play, and you can just keep going. um, there is side stuff. It's still there. I have one right now to go meet Jake from State Farm. Of course. uh, that's never going to go away, but I think them looking at it as like, what are the important things? Your season, your ability to go to the neighborhood and pick your affiliation and play the park games. That's there. They have a nice little side park where you play against the computer in 3-on-3. That's very cool. Where if you get ahead enough and do flashy enough plays, you can shut the game down and end it early, kind of like NBA Street back in the day. That's exactly what it reminds me of.
Nice
Um,
throwback.
yep. And one thing that they kind of touted and I didn't think would get me, and it is the celebrity thing is hilarious to me. So not only are celebrities sitting sideline now in the games and you can see them, they have gone to the effort of getting so many people to do these quick, like 5 to 10 second video clips on their phones that'll play after you have like do something in a game, and it'll be like, man, did you see him? And it'll be like Mark Cuban or Quavo or somebody completely random. And to me, like that helps the experience because it's more like a realistic experience when you're like, oh, this celebrity's talking about me on Twitter. That's cool, you know. And then you go to the next game. Oh, there he is. He's sitting on the front row. I can see him. Like that stuff's cool. That's a nice thing to add. I think they've done a good job. I can't say that this is like, oh my god, this is a 10 out of 10 because it's still NBA. I think this sits right in that 7 to 8 area, like Starfield. But I'm more interested in this game than I have been in the past couple of years, to the point where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to play more 2K. Whereas before, I was just like, I played it for like the first couple of days and I was done. I just did not want to touch it anymore. So I think it's a step in the right direction for them to kind of realize, go back to what was working, and you're going to get people to still spend that.
Basketball.
Yeah, like they're still going to spend those hundreds of dollars on VC now because I have more incentive to play, and they have the Kobe mode. You can play through Kobe's most important games. That's awesome. Um, yeah, overall it's a big step up from last year. I think you would enjoy it, Barry, if you picked it up. Um, yeah, I mean, I really don't have a whole lot of bad to say about it this year, thankfully.
Great.
Um,
I'm
yeah.
excited.
All right. So yeah, these arcade one ups are growing behind me quickly, a lot quicker than I want them to. This Wheel of Fortune one sitting back here just came out this past week, I believe. This was
Okay.
actually my wife's pre-order. She really wanted this. The funny thing is like I think they're going in the right direction because they're branching out. This is literally like a slot machine, is at its heart what it is. It's got 3 different types of slots you can play. The one that they're most, like putting out there is a Wheel of Fortune slot, where you're doing your slots and you're also trying to solve a puzzle at the same time. What I appreciate is them being like, we've made a million arcade games. Let's make a slot machine, and it has like, it's kind of hard to see. There's a small screen up top. The screen in the middle is a touch screen. From what I can tell, it's just an Android tablet, I think. Um, but they have like all these other games that you unlock by earning money from your slots. So incentive to keep playing, right? So there's like 20 games you can go through. So I think so far she's unlocked like there's a bingo. There's like just different like random solitaire, tri peaks, all that kind of stuff that you can kind of mess around with. But I am very much enjoying that they are trying something completely different, because this is not something I would expect. There's like rumors floating out there that they might be attempting a claw machine coming up, and I would think that would be incredible. Um, so, I mean, this to me is like, this is getting the most use out of any of them. This and the
Yeah.
NFL
Yeah.
Blitz are like used every single day, and to me,
Okay.
that's good. Like, I like having them, but some of them I feel like have just become wall decorations. I don't play them that much. The Simpsons one, like, that's a tough one. You play through it, and once you beat that once, how often are you going to play it again? But something like this, where it's a slot machine type thing, and there's incentive to keep playing this. It has online leaderboards, so you're competing against other people. I just think it's a very, very good idea, and I wanted to kind of highlight that it's a good to try new things and not just continue to stick to the same generic, like, oh, what's another arcade game we can do? Let's do another version of Street Fighter, because there's 15,000
Yeah.
of those that they've made. So yeah, this is 100% like, I am not upset at all about that purchase. It's been great.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I didn't. I was
Yeah.
about to say, had you not said that was a machine
Mhm.
like a Wheel of Fortune machine, I would have thought it was just like a slot machine, because that's what it
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
here.
that's what it
Looks
looks like.
Yep.
It's got that slot machine look.
The lights. See, what I like, I really enjoy having all the sounds off, and obviously I turn them down when we're recording, like completely off. But like, it has like you know how slots make
Ching, ching.
noises to like draw your attention. I love that.
Yeah.
And you sit down at that thing, and it's got like, it's very simple, but it works. You got your spin button, your increase, decrease bets, insert coin button, and you're good to go. Um, it's it's really cool. I need more of
Yeah,
that.
sounds
I like, if they did a bunch of different slot machines, that could be pretty fun. I don't know that you need more than one, but different ideas for, I haven't been to a casino in a long time, so I don't know like what the popular slot machines are, but I have to feel like there's probably a Wheel of Fortune slot machine in some casino somewhere that they got this from.
That's
Yeah,
cool
I don't
though.
know.
Like it, yeah,
The casino's
That is
open.
cool.
Stop by anytime.
yeah, right.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're making me think. It's been a long time since I've been in a casino too. Like
Mm,
a long time. I think Walking Dead was a slot machine
okay,
that I saw. I
that
was
makes
going with
sense.
a friend.
Anything that's popular on TV is probably a slot machine
Yeah,
somewhere at
that's what
some
it
point.
was.
But yeah,
Oh
those are
wow.
the two. We can move to movies and TV shows now, Barry. It's okay.
I am sorry.
I am sorry.
I am
You
so
know,
sorry.
people are sorry when they cut out the contraction. I am sorry.
I am
Like,
sorry.
uh,
What'd you
we'll
watch
get
this week, Barry?
one movie that didn't come out the past couple like it came out a couple years ago. I watched the Mark Wahlberg Spencer Confidential on Netflix.
Okay.
Don't know why. I
It's a
just
random
decided
pick.
to. Yes, exactly. That's what I watched. That's all I watched. Other than
Okay.
Winning Time.
Oh yeah. Winning
Have you
Time's
been
been
keeping up
back.
with Winning Time too?
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Great show.
it is the ending of the last episode when they just say "F Boston." I just
Yep.
match that mentality. Being from
Everybody does. Yep.
being from Philly and like hating the Boston Celtics too. Like whenever they yell that, I get up and I yell it with them.
Yep. 100%.
Love that.
All right. So I watched Strays. I know Craig and I have the same movie. I watched Cobweb. And then, as we had talked about after we finished recording last week, I started watching Ladies and Butlers, Barry.
Oh no!
Oh, why do I know? Why have I heard of? Oh, that's
We were
Yeah,
right.
you
talking about it
remember?
Yes.
I think I watched, as a side note, I watched the first episode of, was that High School DxD?
Oh, and
The
you
Long
no!
Man.
Oh God!
Yeah, but
I
I
cannot
didn't.
wait.
I
I
stopped
love
after that
this.
one. But I've watched like 4 episodes of Ladies and Butlers.
All right.
Craig, what about you?
I got Cobweb.
Yes.
That's my
Okay.
big one.
Okay.
We're easing into scary time and such like that. I have
Hmm.
another small one that we watch called Dash Cam, but that'll be like a 5-minute one. I don't know if you
Okay.
watched that one.
I didn't.
So
I've
Cobweb and
seen it.
Dashcam.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure what we want to jump into first here. I guess with me being
Ladies
the
and
only
butlers.
yeah. Okay, yeah, let's do it, ladies and
Oh
butlers.
my god. Craig's Anime Corner. Here we go. Um, there's something about this show that's so weird that I'm just like, I have to keep watching because I'm like, what is happening? I mean, it centers around like there's a school training women to be ladies, and there's like 10 less than 10 men who are trained to be butlers is like the basic premise, which is like, okay, sounds boring, but it's so wild that I'm like, oh my god, what could happen next? I guess I better watch to find out. For the, to clarify why I'm watching, because we did talk about this after we recorded last week. I came across like a list, and it was like 3 animes that, like, I don't even remember what they titled. It was like 3 animes that are just you wouldn't want to get caught watching, I guess, is probably the best way to put it out there. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I can't tell if I like it or not, or if I'm just so confused that I'm just like drawn into watching more. Um, I will say, like, I watched that first episode of High School DxD, and I was like, oh yeah, I know what I'm getting into here, 100%. And I
Yeah,
feel like it's not as in your face with ladies and butlers, but it's still there to a certain extent. But like something about like those weird animes that just kind of like catches my attention. I'm like, who thought this and was like, we could make a show out of this? And then who green lights this show? And like, how does this happen? I just like it's fascinating to me that shows get made that are just so out there. So I think I'm actually going to finish the whole thing. I think it's 2 seasons. How weird is that? It's so weird.
an
Craig, do
anime for the
you want to
entire
join?
podcast.
Do you
Yeah, I'll
want to
watch it. Yeah,
join?
sure. Yeah,
Yes.
I'll watch it. I'll watch
Okay.
it with.
Watch party.
I don't know about that.
I don't know,
I
brother.
don't think a watch party's
It's the wrong word for a watch
appropriate
party.
Yeah,
appropriate for
two
that.
dudes just watching this show just doesn't sound right.
But we're both sitting on opposite ends of the couch, being like, "It's a good episode, right?"
Twists and
Man,
turns, huh?
wow, didn't see that one coming. But yeah, that's ladies and butlers. I will get so much more enjoyment knowing that you are also watching it, and we can communicate how we feel about it, because I don't even know how to explain it. And I
Yeah,
feel like you could look at it and be like, oh yeah, it's kind of like this anime. You know what I mean? Which I don't have
and then
that
I could
reference.
recommend it to so you can continue watching
Oh
more.
no,
Is what you
no.
want. You want me to recommend other ones that are just like it. I understand.
I don't know
Gotcha.
that I want more just
I
like
understand.
it.
Challenge accepted by Barry.
Anyway.
Where are you watching it on? Netflix or
It's on Ladies and Butlers is on Tubi.
Tubi? Okay.
Completely free. Tubi's completely free.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'll see where I
I
can
bet you
watch.
it's on Crunchyroll.
It's got to be on Crunchyroll or High Dive. Like those are the 2
Yeah.
streaming platforms. I'll find it.
Yeah.
I'll figure.
I don't have those, and when I googled it, I was like, "Oh, it's on Tubi. Perfect. Free."
You know, just for fun.
Yes.
Next one, just watch one episode of a old anime called Van Dread.
Mandred?
Van Dread.
Okay. Let me write it down.
I was
Uh-oh.
way too young to be watching this one. But I
Van Dread.
remember coming home from school and I was like, "Oh, anime. I like anime." And I watched 3 episodes of this like when I was coming home
Okay.
from school, and I was like, I didn't know at the time I shouldn't be watching this, but I should not have been.
This is also on Tubi. There we go. Perfect.
Is it? There
Yeah.
you go.
And
Van Dread.
Crunchyroll. Van
Yeah.
Dread. Okay.
Okay.
7 out of 10 on IMDb. There we go.
Yeah. Classic.
Well, we got a lot of 7 out of 10s today.
We do.
I love
Anyway,
it.
on to the next one. What do we want to talk
Which
about?
I'll make it Spencer Confidential. I
Yeah.
feel like these two have such a there's so many similarities between the two. I don't know. I was looking for a good action flick, and I guess this is what Netflix recommended me. My days of like scrolling Netflix for endlessly seems to be all the time right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, based on a popular book series where the character's a detective, he kind of goes through and solves the rights of like badness happening in the world, like somebody being wrongfully accused for something, like he was in the first one. It kind of does allude to a second one afterward, but we haven't seen anything since. And I think this was released 2 or 3 years ago. With that being said, as the he continues to get beat up and he learns more information and eventually gets better and better until he defeats it's typical Mark Wahlberg, really. It's just it's a typical like action flick that he does. um what's the character that also plays in it? He plays M'Baku in Black Panther.
This
But
movie is like a fever dream. I remember watching it, but I don't
yeah,
remember anything about it.
I think it's something Winston. It's something Winston, I think
Winston
is his name.
Duke.
Winston Duke. There we go.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I also watched this movie for him because I love him in Black Panther. So, and I like
Mhm.
Winston Duke just in general. So he also plays like the big tanky character, whereas Mark Wahlberg, like I forget the other movie, but there's a movie with Mark Wahlberg and The Rock. I feel like this is Mark
Pain
Wahlberg and
and
The Rock,
Gain.
but with Winston Duke
Pain,
instead.
pain and gain.
Yep.
Pain and Gain. Um,
It's a
it's an okay.
classic, by the
It's
way.
an
It
okay
is.
And Anthony
action. Yeah,
Mackie.
I
it's an
love
okay
that game.
action flick
That's
in my eyes.
fantastic.
I can see why it probably won't get another one. I probably should
Yep.
have watched Pain and Gain instead, but
It's a
this
good
is
one.
just what was on Netflix. I don't have many opinions about it other than like it's kind of a nonsense action flick that I didn't mind.
Okay. Let me just say real quick, Strays is god awful. Don't watch that movie. I think I kind of knew what I was getting into, but also at the same time, like,
Is it at
why
least
did
funny?
no?
Oh
It's not.
darn!
Of course,
I
it's
don't
not.
understand how these movies get made. Like, does Will Ferrell think that this is funny when he's like him and they're like writing this? I don't know, but like, I had no expectations whatsoever, and somehow it was worse when I made it through. It was a struggle to get through that movie. It's just like, let's take a movie and let's put dogs in it and let's voice over the dogs and have every other word be the F word and it'll be so
Yeah.
funny. Like, that stuff's just not. Back in like the 90s, maybe we thought it could have passed, but nowadays it's like when I might get hate for this, but like Sausage Party. That movie was awful. It's just what it reminds me of. Like, I don't know. Pass on that. But anyway, I'll throw it over to you, Craig.
Well, I was just gonna say before he
Yeah.
mentions that, like I saw the trailers for this movie and I thought of like early like cats versus dogs mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think this movie would be done if it was, or would be better if it was done in like the DC Super Pets like movie? Like that's the most recent like pet movie
Yeah.
that I thought was
Mhm.
done like it was kind of funny, but also had some like serious principles to it, where it was at least enjoyable to watch. Whereas Strays, it
It's
just
just not
seems to be.
enjoyable.
I was hoping it was funny, but I guess it is not the case.
It's not.
I love
Not
it.
at all.
It's not. I'll just get Dashcam out the way just
Mhm.
because it's older. It's like a 2020, 2021. Dashcam is essentially a movie about a woman who's borderline homeless. She's not wealthy, but she has a YouTube channel, and specifically in that YouTube channel, she raps about things that her audience put into her channel. So like it's like a combination of Twitch. They don't actually like have an actual like name of a famous platform to do it, but it's like Twitch. And one thing leads to another. She goes and visits a friend out in the UK who's newly married, used to be a bandmate from a band that she had back in the day. They get into a fight. She ends up stealing his car as like kind of like a, like, well, F you kind of thing. And her friend is an or like a driver for like an Uber type, not Uber, Grubhub, any type of like food delivery type of thing. So she gets this call on her friend's phone to go pick up some food, and in actuality, it's a person in an abandoned rest or a closed restaurant asking her to deliver a woman instead. And the woman is old, and she like agrees because of the amount of money the person throws at them, as per happens in a lot of scary movies. And it's about what happens further after that. So it's pretty cool because it plays on, if anybody has seen the movie The Visit, where people are visiting their grandma and grandpa who they've never met before, and their grandma and grandpa are acting very weird, and you can't tell whether it's medically just something that happens when you get older or if it's something otherworldly or whatever. That's what this movie is. And it's I almost said good. It's pretty crazy. There's a lot of crazy things that happen. It's only like a hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes. And then after you get to the part where like she's like, "Oh, I'm stealing my friend's car to say suck it," and she drives and does all that stuff. When she actually gets the woman, I don't know where the time went because it's just bam, 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 bam. Found footage. She does the whole thing from vlogging / GoPro cameras, all that type of thing. So it's pretty crazy. I got to stop myself from saying good. I don't know if it's good.
Okay.
I just know I was entertained for the majority of the movie because I just could not believe what was happening
Mm.
in front of me. So that's what I'll lay it out as. Recommend it. It's on Prime. It is free if you have a Prime membership. We did not have to buy that one, thank God. But I would recommend it as we're getting into scary movie season. I think Dash Pass, if you're the kind of person like my wife and I who start watching in September and get all the questionable movies out in September or the ones we haven't seen, I recommend it.
Okay. Give me that Cobweb review.
Oh my God, this is a good movie.
It's real good.
This is a good movie. Um, I haven't played Who's the Antagonist in a long time.
Yeah.
And that movie had me wondering who the antagonist was the whole time. Lizzie Kaplan, who's our boy who plays Homelander?
Homelander. Yep. I don't remember his name,
Um,
but Homelander.
Homelander. I like feel bad. What the heck is his name?
He's playing almost a Homelander like character, kind of.
Anthony
Yes.
Starr.
Anthony Starr's in this movie,
Did
and
I
it's
wait?
great.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I got it right. Did I?
Let me see.
It,
Yep.
I think it is
Anthony
Anthony Starr.
with 2 R's. Yep.
With 2 R's.
That was a shot in the dark.
So here's what works about it immediately from the casting. Lizzie Kaplan does not play the character that she plays in
Yep.
like any other film. The recent thing that I remember liking her from is Party Down, which is an awesome show if you haven't seen it. Definitely got canceled too soon. And then Anthony Starr is just Homelander without superpowers,
Yep.
essentially, in this movie. And the premise is it's essentially just two parents who are taking care of their child, but how do I explain this without ruining it,
The
Craig?
less you know, the better, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
it's two
I would
parents taking
almost
care of a
like,
child.
yeah, that's really all you need to know. I feel like, because I didn't even watch a trailer before watching it, and I think that made it even better.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, it's called Cobweb. Does it have something to do with the spider? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. It was great twist. Did not know. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Craig. I'm not going to say a lot about it. I am going to say that it's a pretty darn good horror movie. To put it on a scale, I have not seen Talk to Me yet, but it is better than Smile if we're thinking of another recent scary movie, just any recent scary movie other than Talk to Me. It is better than Smile. I recommend it. It was worth the $7 we paid to rent it on Prime. I probably will buy it when it's available, or it might be available already to purchase on DVD. Or
I think
Blu-ray.
it's streaming. I don't know if it's on DVD already. Is it?
I don't know. I know it's this year. I just feel like it came out maybe in July or in August kind of thing. I don't know. I have to look it up, but it's great. It's a great movie. It's a fantastic movie.
It comes out tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's your answer. Yeah, it was a lot better than I thought it would be. And again, it helps, like, anytime you can see a movie and not know anything about it or the least amount as possible, I think it always makes it better. But something about, like, just trying to figure out, like, who is actually the bad person in this movie, it just makes it, you're like, oh, I think it's them. Oh, it could be them. Maybe it's not them. That's what I was doing the entire time.
Yeah. Who is it?
Yeah. And what is going on?
And what is going on? It's good. And also, if you like Lizzie Kaplan and have not seen her in a scary, go watch this.
Mm-hmm.
She's pretty freaking good, and I'm just not used to her doing that type of cinema.
Honestly, I would
at least
say
me personally.
That movie is like, I mean, it's only an hour and a half, but like 75% like suspense, maybe 25% horror movie. Like
Yeah,
the end is like
yeah,
your horror, I guess, but like it's just a big build up.
yeah. Barry could watch it.
You should watch it. I think you'd like it. Nah, he
But you
probably won't
guys,
like it, but you should
I was
watch
about
it.
to say, you guys know I like the kind of mystery movies where it's, the Night at the Casino Royale, but it doesn't sound like it's like that. It's a little bit, I guess,
No, it's
more.
more of like the easiest way to put it without like ruining it is something bad is happening, but what is it? Right? Like something bad happened and something bad is happening, and who is doing the right thing is
Yeah,
probably the best way to put it.
Hmm.
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And you do spend that first probably what hour of the hour and a half being like trying to figure out who's actually telling the right side.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep
Yeah.
looking. And like,
Yep.
we don't get tricked a lot as an audience anymore. So like anybody who
Mm-hmm.
can keep you guessing.
Yep. Agreed. I really liked it. I thought it was well done.
Okay. Well, that will put a wrap on this podcast then. I want to thank everybody for listening. If you feel so inclined, please make sure to share it with a friend that you think would like it, or please make sure to review it on your podcast listening platform of choice. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe. Let's see here. What can you comment about this week? About how I interrupted Craig. Tell me how NBA is, NBA 24 is the second coming of all NBA games,
There we
or
go.
or how I'm
There
wrong
you go.
about Madden, and that Madden's the greatest game ever made again,
Oh dear.
and how it's saved. I have a hard
Now
time
that's
finding
true.
anybody to defend that game. Now that I thought about the rant I went on it earlier, but thank you everybody for the support of watching. We really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time.
See
Bye.
ya.
Bye guys.